There's a place in the world for a gambler. There's a burden that only he can bear. There's a place in the world for a gambler, and he sees, yes, he sees, and he sees, oh yes, he sees. There's a song in the heart of a woman that only the truest of loves can release. There's a song in the heart of a woman. Set it free, oh, set it free. Set it free, oh, set it free. Set it free, oh, set it free. There's a light in the depths of your darkness. There's a calm at the eye of every storm. There's a light in the depths of your darkness. Let it shine, oh, let it shine. 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 Good morning, friends. Welcome to worship here at Shepherd of the Hills Presbyterian Church in Austin, Texas. I am Beth Mueller, your Senior Director of Worship Arts and Bits and Dribbles. I do lots of other things too. And we're delighted that you have decided to join us either in person or online, Facebook Live or YouTube Live. Be sure to throw a hello in those comments and let us know that you're there. We're going to give you another Get Ready song, and then we'll begin our worship together. We will be celebrating communion today, as is our weekly practice here at Shepherd of the Hills. So if you are at home, you may want to grab something, whether it's a cinnamon roll and coffee or Doritos and a Dr. Pepper, it doesn't matter. So you can grab anything that you have handy in order to participate in that holy feast with us a little later on in the service. Yes? Oh, I have to change guitars. Now I'm wearing the special guitar. Expect something special.
Well, I don't know why I came here tonight. I got the feeling that something ain't right. I'm so scared I think I'll fall off my chair, and I'm wondering how I'll get down the stairs. Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you. Yes, I'm stuck in the middle with you. And I'm wondering what it is I should do. It's so hard to keep this smile on my face. Losing control, yet I'm over the place. Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you. Well, you started out with nothing and you're proud you're a self-made man. And your friends, they all come crawling, slap you on the back and say, please, please. Trying to make some sense of it all, but I can't see it makes no sense at all. Is it cool to go to sleep on the floor? 'Cause I don't think I can take any more. Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you. Started out with nothing and you're proud that you're a self-made man. And your friends, they all come crawling, slap you on the back and say, please, please. Well, I don't know why I came here tonight. Something ain't right. I'm so scared in case I fall off my chair. And I'm wondering how I'll get down the stairs. Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you. Yes, I'm stuck in the middle with you. Stuck in the middle with you. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you.
Let's stand and sing together. Jason and the choir are going to lead us in a hymn.
Oh
glad you're here. Let's take a moment to greet one another. Be sure you know the names of the folks around you and say good morning.
They seem to like me, so I might as well go in the interview as far as I can get at the very least. And then you'll know how you feel. Yeah, exactly.
Still, you're few but mighty.
Yeah. I just got a job because I was going to say there's nothing
All right. Good morning. It's good to see everybody today. Welcome. Awesome. Yeah, it's wonderful to see everybody today. So thank you all for joining us here at Shepherd of the Hills Presbyterian Church here in Austin, Texas, both in person and for those of you watching online on Facebook Live and YouTube Live. We are so glad that you're joining with us too. If you are here for the first time, we are so grateful that you've come to worship with us. We want to welcome you. And we want you to feel welcomed as well. And so if you haven't had an opportunity to stop by our Welcome Center or one of the Welcome Centers, please do that before you leave today, because we have a free gift for you. And whatever information that you would like to have about our church family, we'd love to give that to you. And if you have questions about what it means when we say that we love God, love everybody here in Austin and around the world, we would be happy to share that with you as well. This is an incredible church family, an awesome church, and yes, sir. Yep. I'm not biased by any stretch of the imagination. So if you're looking for a church, then I would say look no further if you're feeling led to be a part of a family of faith that is vibrant, alive, excited, with all kinds of stuff going on. So in fact, I want to share some of those things with you today, and you're going to hear a little bit more about this, but today is our life groups launch. I want to make it clear that they don't start today, but this is when we're launching the announcements of all of the groups that are going to be meeting. And you're going to hear more about that in just a bit, but you'll be able to stop by the faith formation table after the worship service today and get signed up if you're interested in being a part of one of those groups. And like I said, we've got some entertainment ahead of us as we're going to be sharing some more information about life groups. But that's going to be happening very soon. We've got a lot of classes coming up too. We've got an Enneagram, understanding the system of the Enneagram, that's going to be meeting on Mondays at 7 p.m. in the cafe. And we also have an awesome class that's going to be offered about positive discipline when it comes to parenting. And that's going to be on Wednesdays at 6 p.m., which coincides with our youth ministry. So you can drop your kids off if you have kids that are here for the youth group, and then go and attend the class. It's going to be fantastic. That's going to begin on October 4th. And we've got all kinds of events. We've got the Hebrews September gathering that's going to be happening at Jester King. And please note that when you come to any of these gatherings that we have at these various locations, if you're not a beer drinker, maybe you don't drink at all, there's all kinds of offerings that these places will have that are non-alcoholic. And so everybody's welcome to come and to be a part of that. Our prime time is having a coffee and conversation at Waterloo Ice House on September 25th. The young adults are having a karaoke night. They always do the most fun stuff. But at any rate, that's going to be on Saturday, September 30th. And lest we forget the Gen Xers, right? Come on, man. That's right. Michael is not here today. He's traveling, but Michael was like, we got to do something, and it's basically we have to do something fun that makes sure that we get in bed by like 9:30. Because that's when I quit. Like everything just shuts down at 9:30. It's like, yep, you're done. Remember when you used to go out at 9:30? I mean, I used to come home from work, go to sleep, and then go out at 9:30 at night, 10 o'clock at night. Yeah, now, no. But we're going roller skating, y'all. So yeah, and that. It was running through my head. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna destroy something. But I'm going, man. I'm going anyway, and it'll be amazing. So it's gonna be at Austin Roller Rink, and that's on October 5th. So all this stuff is coming up. And we have a Shepherd 101 orientation for prospective new members. If you're interested in possibly joining our church, or you just want to find out more about what Shepherd of the Hills is all about, you can come to Shepherd 101, and we'll feed you, and you get all kinds of questions answered if you have them. And it'll be a great time to be able to get to know some of our staff and elders and so forth. Now today we're having community worship, which is a combination of our worship with the choir and worship with the band. So we kind of have that together. And then next Sunday is worship with the choir. So will be hymns and the choir will be leading. Yes. They're representing today. They're few but mighty, but there'll be. I'm sure there will be more folks that are involved in that. And Jason, this is probably a good opportunity. Let me give you this mic, and then you can, because Jason has an announcement about the cantata.
Thank you, Pastor Leon. Good morning, everybody. So you see these guys up here right now. I just wanted to give a fair warning to everybody. Today, we started our first rehearsal for the choir. This is how we celebrated going into the 90s for a high temperature. So, singing "Oh Come On Ye Faithful" in September is kind of strange, but we had a good time. I just wanted to give everybody a fair warning. We have already identified some of you, and we're coming after you to sing with us for the cantata. So it's a fair warning, Kenny, I'm looking at you. So, the biggest thing that I wanted to mention is if you want to join us for the cantata, you are of course welcome. We do not discriminate in any ways. An example of that is Beth is one of our mightiest tenors. So we really do not discriminate.
It's true.
So here are requirements to join the choir for the cantata. You have to love this church, you have to know how to have a good time, and singing good is optional.
Yeah.
What I can promise you is a good time, very, very good fellowship, and you're gonna really have this gratifying feeling that you contributed to the Christmas season. So please let any of us know, and we will welcome you. So I hope you join us. Thank you.
Thanks, Jason. I know, it's like Christmas. I'm talking about that. You go to Costco and it's like all the Christmas stuff is out already, so. Yeah, it'll be here before you know it. But until then, we still have some warm weather ahead, but it was, I know, I hope y'all don't have anywhere to go today. I'm working off of 3 hours of sleep because I went to the UT game last night, hook 'em. And after a decidedly mediocre first half, they finally showed up, and it was awesome. But didn't get home until like 12. The boys wanted Taco Bell, so naturally I had to eat some Taco Bell, and then I couldn't
go to sleep after
then
that.
I couldn't go to sleep until like 2 a.m. So it might be it's going to be an interesting Sunday. Let's just say that. But yeah, I was at my son's football game the other day, and I thought, oh man, it feels kind of good today. It's got to be in the 80s, and it was 93, and I'm like, this is what's happened to us here. We've been acclimated. As I mentioned earlier, we wanted to share some information about life groups, and of course, we have a very special way to share some of that information. And we have another appearance by our good friend Amanda, who was the star of our stewardship campaign videos. And so, yes. So once again, let's take a look and hear what we have to say on this video.
Life groups are so late. I didn't know you were coming. So, why are you here?
I'm here with the frequently asked questions about life groups.
We're just starting life groups. How can there be frequently asked questions?
Fine, just go ahead like I'm not even here.
Okay. As I was saying, life groups are small groups that create space for people to intentionally share their lives with others and grow spiritually together. Life groups will have a balance of caring, Bible study, praying, and eating, and all will be unique. So, did that answer some of your questions?
Some of them. Let's see. What if I don't know much about the Bible? I'm asking for a friend, of course.
That's fine. There are different topics and books or groups to choose from, and you can learn to discuss things together according to your interests and where you want to go in terms of content.
Okay. What if I need childcare?
Some of the groups will have childcare. Some of the groups will have children in attendance at the life groups.
What if I want a group where everyone is about my same age? Or what if I want a group of people older than me so I can feel young?
Some groups that are similar ages, and some groups that are energetic.
Okay. Will I have to bring food every week and drive really far?
Well, that will be three groups. The groups will decide what kind of hosting they're going to do and where they're going to meet, but we do know that we're going to have groups in a variety of locations.
Okay. So if I need a group meeting on a weeknight with kids,
We have a group for you.
okay? A group dedicated to people over 60.
We have a group for you.
Only men doing a deep dive into the scriptures.
Yes, definitely. We have that.
Men and women meeting at 8:30 Sunday mornings before church.
Very specific and definitely so.
Okay. How about an intergenerational group meeting at sand volleyball courts, pretending to be in the Caribbean?
Very, very specific. And we may have reached our boundary there, but who knows?
Okay. It's good to know our limits.
Okay, whatever the combination of group you're looking for, we're going to try to provide it for you with life groups. Registration is open now on the ground. It's not too late to sign up. Life groups really bring people together in a way that simply attending worship can. We really encourage you to try this group experience, and we would love to see you sign up. Life groups, life groups, life groups.
And let's hear it for Beeman, who somehow managed to look cool even in that hat. I think maybe you should wear that at your next legislative session. You'd fit right in, I think. So
it definitely couldn't hurt.
Well, I'm going to ask Scott Swick to come up. Scott is the chair of our faith formation team and has been kind of the creative force and the spirit behind our life groups. And so, Scott, if you would come on up.
Thank you, Leon. Well, so as you could tell for the last several weeks, we've talked a lot about life groups, and so we're launching them today. And this group idea all started from you. In the last year, we got a lot of feedback from people that really wanted to be a church that were being the church, not just going to church. And that we heard from people that we want to be part of where we're caring and sharing and learning and praying and eating together and that kind of thing. And so as an elder, I got involved because I have some experience with life group. When I was a senior in high school, I got invited to live with a family so I didn't have to go to another high school because my parents had moved and I wanted to finish my high school at the same place. And they would have life groups every week in their house. And I was kind of sitting on the periphery and watching, and I would watch the people have fun and how the bonds that would form and the relationships that developed and the excitement when they realized that the Bible could actually speak to their lives today. And so one spring morning at breakfast, my friend Jerry, that's his name, Jerry says, "Hey Scott, I'm starting a life group with a bunch of teenagers, and I want to know if you'd like to be part of it." I said, "Well, sure," because I thought if it's like that, that would be great. So we had the first time, we laughed, we teased each other, we prayed, we learned. It was so fun. And so then the next week at breakfast, he says, "Hey Scott, there's something happened in my schedule I can't make next week, or this coming week. Would you lead this?" I go, "You're crazy." I don't even know the Bible. I mean, I know nothing about leading a group. He says, "That's okay, I'll teach you. I'll see you after school." So that day after school, he kind of showed me, and then that week, it didn't go so bad. I mean, it was great, and we had a great time. So then next week, we're sitting at breakfast, and he says, "Hey Scott, my schedule has changed permanently. Would you take over this group?" Of course, that was what he planned all along. So that group became people where we were in each other's lives. A lot of us stood up for each other's in our weddings. As we got older, everybody was involved in their church and as lay leaders and such. One became a pastor. Two people met each other there, got married, and went to China as missionaries. I mean, it was so fun to see people's lives change and get involved in putting their faith in practice. So that's what life groups are all about. It's about having that kind of change and openness to what could happen when a bunch of people are going to do life together. So we're starting this October. Okay, many of the groups are going to start in October. So this is September, so we still have a few weeks for people to consider this and think about it. And after the service, as Leon said, there'll be the leaders are going to be out there, and they're going to be people you can ask questions of and see if it's something you'd want to be part of, and if so, sign up. So I'm inviting the 6 leaders. We're going to have 6 groups starting this fall. So could those leaders come on up front here? And I'm just going to let them introduce themselves a little bit to y'all. Now, I learned one of the rules up front is you never give anybody the mic. So I'm going to hold the mic. Alrighty, so I'm going to skip you, Jim, just because we're going to go last, okay? And we'll go to Beeman and Carlin. Tell us about your group.
Sure. Our group is, we're looking for young and medium young couples. There's no particular age. You can self-identify there. It doesn't even have to be a couple. Young and medium young non-couples welcome. And we are not sure exactly what we're going to teach yet, but C.S. Lewis is definitely in the mix as we have this discussion at our kitchen table and talk to y'all.
When you're meeting?
We're meeting the first and third Tuesdays of the month. We're meeting at our house. Warning, we have 3 cats and a puppy. So if you like cats and puppies, please come. They will be participating. If you have a cat allergy, think it through. And 7 to 8:30. Carlin is my actual brain back here, so and a lot of other times too. And a lot of other times too. But so we are really looking forward to it. We think it'll be a fun time, and invite y'all to participate.
Thank you.
Hi, we're Bill and Liz Altman, and we're going to have a group that meets every week on Thursdays, starting in early October. And we chose one of the many books from the InterVarsity Press to learn about Christian character. And it goes from one topic to the next, and we'll be in the Word and have a good, hearty discussion. And
Lots of food.
And lots of food. And Liz will be baking, yes. Yeah.
That's great. Thanks. Tom?
Tom O'Mara, and Bill is doing double duty because he's going to be in this life group. Also, we meet weekly right after the worship service on Sunday mornings. And we're going to start out studying Colossians, but it's going to be men's Bible study. We're hoping for all generations.
Thanks, Tom.
Hi, I'm Luann, and I live in Buda, and this is Glenda.
I'm Glenda. I live in Kyle, and we're going to do a group.
If you live in Buda or Kyle, that's the only requirement we have. We don't care your age, or if you're a couple, or if you're not.
We're here to make you feel young.
We're going to be 2 Thursdays a month at 6:30 to 8, and we've already picked out a book. And also, we're precocious. We're starting on September 28th. So, and we already have a book. We're going to look at a book that's about Advent, and we're excited about that.
And we chose the 28th because there are 6 sessions in this study, and at the 6th session, we will be right at Christmas. So, you know, we thought we'd start in plenty of time to get that done.
Hi, I'm Barbara Christensen, and I will be co-leading a group with my good friend Sue Lagerquist. Our group is targeting church singles, by which we mean single adults or people whose spouse or partner is not involved in the church. We will be meeting at my home first and third Tuesday of each month, 7 to 8:30, and we will be discussing a Bible study called Depending on Jesus. And we will have snacks, so.
And Jim, you want to speak for us?
Sure, Scott. Thanks. As Scott and I have been planning this, we've had a lot of questions, and almost every time we hit one of those, we say, well, let's get some input from the group. So one thing we've decided is the place here and the time, 8:30. We're coming here anyway. So otherwise, I'd say we will probably move through different kinds of learning together. We will definitely have food. We're going to have a bias towards group discussion, and that way we'll get to know each other. So look forward to discussing it with you after church today.
Doesn't this sound cool? So, yes, and we do. So one thing to know, these groups are open. You don't have to be a member. You don't even have to be an attender. I mean, it's open to anybody that wants to come. And it's open all through the year. So if you're not ready right now, but you might be ready at some other time in the future, then you can join. Okay, so it's open all the time. We'll all be back there after the service, and we've taken too much time already, but I appreciate your time. Thanks.
Church, as you're able, will you please rise for the call to worship today? Forgiveness is mercy.
Such pardon and kindness I cannot fathom.
Forgiveness is unfailing love.
Such patience and understanding I cannot comprehend.
Forgiveness is overwhelming compassion.
Such sympathy and warmth I cannot reciprocate.
Forgiveness is the blotting out of transgressions.
Such freedom and goodwill I do not deserve.
Forgiveness is the washing away of my iniquities.
Such purity and newness I cannot maintain.
O Lord, open my lips, and my mouth will declare your praise. Let us worship God. Please remain standing for the next hymn.
At the table.
yourselves a hand. You may be seated. That's one of the newer hymns in our Presbyterian hymnal, which when we gather for community worship, we try to explore some of those that we don't know quite as well. So good job, you all. I'm so proud. So, to be honest, I am feeling worn out. I am tired. I am worn to the bone with that sort of just exhaustion that has nothing to do with sleep. I am full of grief at the loss of a dear friend. I am tired of babysitting. I am tired of everything. And I can see by the nods that you all are doing that you get it. And you know what, y'all? When we are in that space, the fuse gets short, and it gets harder and harder and harder to extend grace. So this weekend, my husband Rob, who's the pastor of a Hispanic Presbyterian church in San Antonio, Divine Redeemer, they do this wonderful bilingual family camp where actually the majority of the people that attend are neighborhood families. They aren't even church members. It is this wonderful piece of outreach. These are families that rarely, if ever, leave the city of San Antonio, much less get to explore 300 pristine acres of beautiful hill country. So our weekend was jam-packed with all of the events on that, and my brain, frankly, is killing me from trying to speak Spanish for the last 2 days. I used to think that I was really good at speaking Spanish until I married my husband, who is literally bilingual and would correct me often enough that, you know, the truth of my reality sunk in. Okay, so to get to John Knox Ranch, there is a one-lane low-water crossing, affectionately known as Slime Bridge. Slime Bridge does not have any water going over the top of it right now because Texas. And so, but anyway, it is a one-lane low-water crossing over the river. Now, in the hill country, I've lived there for 30 years, and in the hill country, there is a very well-defined etiquette when you are crossing a one-lane bridge. Whoever starts on the bridge first has right of way. And so you slow down and you watch and you look to make sure that nobody is coming around that tree-laden corner to get on the bridge before you. We all play very nicely with this rule because it is an important one. All right, I was going to the store. I am midway on the bridge. I am midpoint. I clearly was on the bridge first. This SUV comes just flying around that corner, and she decides to play chicken with me. My fuse is short. Y'all, the rage that I felt. I'm almost shaking because I can still remember the rage that I felt. Not only was she being rude, but she had broken the cardinal rule of hill country etiquette when you cross a bridge, right? My immediate thought was, I can wait here all day, lady. She is now moving her hand like this. I imagined briefly leaping out of my car and wrenching her out of hers and throwing her into the river. Cooler heads prevailed. I backed up, but I was steaming. I back up, and I'm on the inconvenient side to back up, by the way. she comes flying across and does this little swoop to get past me and to go on her way. And as she was swooping past me, I look over and I caught a glare from the sun on her window, and I thought in my head, is she crying? Then I immediately realized, no, she's not crying. She's just being mean. But that moment of asking myself the question put me back in touch with her humanity and with my humanity. And when we can live in that space, when we can inhabit the human space, where we can recognize, where we can see, where we can strive to find the face of Christ on one another, and when we can hold on to the reality that we are all doing the best that we can pretty much all the time. And sometimes that is not very good. Sometimes that is rude etiquette on a one-lane crossing. But we are all doing the best that we can. That is the place where I can find a little bit of grace. Let's pray together. God of grace, you invite us to forgive others as we have been forgiven by you. But we confess that we would rather hold a grudge than offer forgiveness. Instead of seeing the face of Christ on each other, we gather our grievances around us and cling tightly to them. We believe the worst about each other instead of offering the benefit of the doubt. We make everything about us, when in truth, much of life is not directed at us at all. Forgive our blindness. Transform our offense into generosity and our self-absorption into selflessness. Help us treat others with kindness and love, even in the face of insult or injury. Set us free to forgive ourselves and one another through your transformative love. Hear us now as we open our hearts to you. Amen. Friends, God is so invested in our human condition that God took on flesh and became one of us in order to save all of us. So hear this good news. In Jesus Christ, we are forgiven. Thanks be to God. Let's stand and sing together.
Great is your faithfulness, O God. You wrestle with the sinner's heart. You lead us by still waters into mercy, and nothing can keep us apart. So
So we come to a time in our worship where we're given the opportunity to give back to God what belongs to God in the first place. And when we do this and we pass plates, those plates are signs and symbols for us of the fact that we are in this together, that we are a family of faith. And we share in all of the things that we do as a family of faith. And so we're invited, we're given the opportunity as part of this church at Shepherd of the Hills to give of our time and our talent and also of our treasure. Because the gifts that you give, the financial gifts that you offer, and you do so in unbelievable generosity. And so I'm always amazed at how generous our congregation is. But when you do that, you give our church an opportunity to do amazing things out in the world, but also to do amazing things here, to nurture the life and faith of our children and also of our youth. And so in a little bit, you're going to hear once again from our youth band. And so that's awesome, yeah. And there's all kinds of ways that you can give, as you see on the screens, and I encourage you to do that. And we remember each and every week what the Apostle Paul taught us so long ago when he said, decide ahead of time what it is that you will give, and then give it joyfully because the Lord loves a cheerful giver. And Lucy is going to introduce, so this is Lucy, by the way, who has been leading our youth band.
So I just wanted to introduce these really talented kids real quick before they play. We have Jessica on piano. This is Julian on drums. This is the first time he's played here.
Woo!
Corin on guitar. This is Corin's dad filling in on bass. Amaya on vocals and Janelle on vocals.
Love has called my name. I've been born again into your God.
Great job, you guys. Thank you for sharing your gifts with the church, and thank you, Lucy, for putting all that together. Amazing. Yeah, so awesome. All right, so I do have to preach. After all of that fun stuff, so we'll try to make it fun. Okay, how about that? Like I said, 3 hours of sleep. So we're going to continue the series that we've been working on for the past several weeks, a sermon series entitled The Gospel According to Jesus. And the reason why we've been focused on this particular series and kind of really zeroing in on the Gospel of Matthew is that there's some key teachings and lessons from that Gospel that enable us to hear the good news of Jesus Christ directly from the source, from Jesus himself. And as we've stated, there's lots of people in our current culture and the dominant sort of forms of Christianity that they seem to say all kinds of things in the name of Jesus that don't really sound a whole lot like Jesus. And it's difficult sometimes for some of us when you have a friend or you encounter somebody that has sort of a lot of scripture committed to memory. You ever had a friend like that that just knew all these Bible verses? It seemed like they knew a lot of Bible verses, but probably they just knew a few that they repeated all the time, right? But sometimes it's difficult when you have somebody that seems to have this biblical knowledge down, right? They have a verse for every situation. And sometimes when you're having conversations with them about the foundations of the Christian faith, and maybe, your sense, your feeling inside is something's wrong in our country. There's something wrong with the dominant forms of Christianity. They're saying things that don't sound a whole lot like Jesus. And then you encounter somebody that has all these Bible verses and they're spouting them off and saying, and it can feel like you're inadequate, right? You can feel like, I don't know what to say in return. Well, the best possible way that you can educate yourself is to dig into the Gospels, to dig into what Jesus had to say. And so that's why I really wanted to make this sermon series happen. And it's been something that's been on my mind for a long time. And so this presented a great opportunity for us to do that. And so we've been going to the source every single week, hearing what Jesus had to say, hearing what Jesus was teaching, and learning from his stories, his life, his ministry, and kind of drawing closer to an understanding of what it means to be a follower of Jesus in our current age, but in any age. And so today, we're going to be exploring a story that Jesus told about forgiveness and a nearly impossible standard that he kind of set. And the interesting thing is that the Apostle Peter came to ask Jesus a question about forgiveness and how many times that you should forgive somebody. And so Jesus' response was incredible, right? It was like, what? That doesn't even make sense. And so at any rate, that's where we're going to be digging today. And we're going to be learning how forgiveness is something that can set us free. That in God's economy of grace, things are different. And in fact, that's exactly what happens, right? The good news of Jesus is that in God's economy of grace, it just hits different. It's just a different kind of thing. Something that may seem radical to us. May seem out of the ordinary. And in fact, when we talk about good news, I need to just reiterate this again very quickly. When we talk about good news, when we talk about the gospel, because lots of times in my life, walking around doing stuff, whatever I do in my travels throughout the day, I will encounter sometimes people who will have conversations with me and, they'll find out what I do for a living. And, they'll say, well, it doesn't matter what kind of church you are in, because I'll say I'm Presbyterian. Well, it doesn't matter what kind of church you're in as long as you preach the gospel. And I'm always like, I don't follow up because I'm like, I just don't have time for a really long discussion. But my assumption is that what they're calling the gospel isn't really the gospel. And it's not that I'm blaming them because that's what they've been taught, right? But when you go into the scripture, you find out what Jesus meant when he said the good news, the gospel, right? Because he proclaimed the good news in his very first sermon in Luke chapter 4 when he said to a group of people from his hometown, the Spirit of the Lord is upon me to bring the good news, right? To share the good news with the poor, to give sight to the blind, to lift up those who are oppressed, to set free those who have been imprisoned. And there was a whole other section to that quote that he was giving from the prophet Isaiah that he just ended right before he read the next verse. And he didn't read the next verse, which everybody there would have expected him to read that next verse because they all knew it, because it was about retribution. It was about the enemies of Israel getting what they deserved, right? And Jesus ended the sermon without doing that. That this was a new age. There was grace, an economy of grace that the people there couldn't put their heads around. In fact, they were so incensed by the fact that he didn't say the enemies, your enemies, will get theirs, as they rightly deserve. They got so angry they wanted to throw him off a cliff. Now, I have never really had anybody want to throw me off a cliff after a sermon. At least they didn't tell me, even if they believed it, right? But to preach grace and to say that grace falls on everyone, and then to have people get so angry about it, I mean, good Lord, I've never heard of that happening anywhere, right? In any church, at any time. I'm so glad that we've moved beyond that first century ignorance. Sorry, I just went and preached a little bit. But at any rate, that grace, that radical grace in God's economy, I mean, it's beyond our comprehension sometimes. So much so that we struggle sometimes to forgive and to show that grace to other people, even though we ourselves have received it. So what I want you guys to hold on to today, kind of the big idea that we're struggling with, is something that we're going to get to in just a moment. But I want to ask you a question before we do that. What are some things that you find hard to forgive? I have a list. So, I mean, I came prepared, all right? So here's one of the things that I find hard to forgive. People who call a store to ask questions as I'm standing in the store asking questions. You ever have that happen? Like you're asking a question of the salesperson and they go, oh, hold on a minute, and they answer the phone, and then they begin to talk to this person who's asking questions from their home while I am standing in front of the salesperson. I don't know why that bothers me so much, but I find it unforgivable, to be honest with you. Because when I worked in retail, if I got a phone call and somebody was asking me a question and I was with a customer, I would say, can you hold on a minute and let me, so there's like two people at fault in that moment that I have a hard time forgiving. The salesperson who goes and has a conversation and then goes around looking for like something while I'm standing there going, hello, I made the effort. I mean, I came here, man. So so that's one. I know I'm probably being silly, but this one is one that will get us all. People who drive the speed limit in the fast lane.
Amen.
Okay, don't be that guy. I've been doing a lot of driving over the past week, so I'm driving down I-35, which honestly is, in my opinion, may be one of the worst interstates in America. I mean, how many times can you tear up the same amount of road? I'm looking at you, Waco. So... So I'm like, I'm stuck. I'm watching all the people in the middle lane like just go flying by me. And I'm like, dude, what is going on? And so I finally get out and I drive up and I go, and there's this guy on his phone. And I'm like, dude, Jesus said that was the unforgivable sin. The sin against the Spirit. Look it up. And then there's this. People who take up 2 parking spaces. Have y'all ever just wanted to like go, I have a key. I could write something on that car. I mean, come on, man. The social compact, especially, here in Austin, the parking spaces are fairly narrow. As I've discovered when I look at all the dings on the side of my car. But yeah, so then we also have this. This is something that's an unforgivable sin to me. People who bring $500 worth of clothing to the register and only buy $30 worth. So let me explain. It's like you come with a pile of clothes and then you sort through them deciding which one you're gonna buy, while everyone else is waiting in line. And people like me, I already decided what I was gonna buy. I mean, I did that before, So you went and tried it on, and what happened between when you left the dressing room and you got there that you just sort of forgot what you looked like in that blouse or that shirt that was unbecoming? And then there's this. People who talk on their phones at the airport gate as loudly as they can as if no one is sitting next to them. So this was an image that I did on AI. Like I just typed in annoying person on a phone at an airport. And it came up with this guy. The artificial intelligence was like, I got you. Yeah, right? And so, and it's terrible because you're sitting there, you're trapped. I can't put on my headphones because I'm worried I'll miss something, like your gates have changed, like that kind of thing. And so I don't have my headphones on. And so I have to listen to one side of this inane, ridiculous conversation where somebody's like shouting or laughing or going, oh, all that kind of stuff. It's annoying, right? I don't forgive that. And then this one is the worst. People who lean their airplane seat back on a less than 3-hour flight. Okay, this, I believe, is an actual photo of me sitting. I mean, they captured the essence of what it feels like to be me when the person in front of me on like a 2-hour and 30-minute flight says, I need to stretch out. And then they pull their seat all the way back. And the next thing you know, I'm like looking at their scalp. So as a big guy, I'm like, I have a hard time with that. So I have, I'm gonna have to tell it. Sometimes I decide this person's not leaning back. And so it's really easy for me just to put my knees up against the seat and then they do this until they finally grow weary and they just fall asleep, So I'm like, that's not forgivable. All right, enough comedy. So there's probably lots of things that we find that are hard to forgive, but honestly, when it comes down to it, the serious question here is, have you ever felt like someone that has hurt you, someone that someone that wounded you, is just unforgivable? It goes without saying that in the Christian life, right, forgiveness is a huge part of what it means to follow Jesus. But honestly, most of us, we struggle with forgiveness when it comes to certain people. The people that have wounded us, the people that have hurt us, the people that have abused us, betrayed us. And we struggle sometimes to be able to forgive. And maybe what they've done is so terrible and awful that it has adversely affected our life in such a way that it feels like that's a bridge too far to actually forgive somebody like that. And it's a struggle for all of us. Every one of us has a person in our life, or maybe a few, that person did something that hurt me so deeply that I don't know if I'll ever get over it. And so I cannot forgive. I mean, I I don't have to be around them, but I'm not forgiving them. We hold on to it. And so what Jesus said to Peter when Peter came and asked a question, like, how many times should you forgive somebody before you give up? And you just stop forgiving them when they keep hurting you over and over again, or when they keep doing the thing over and over again. And sometimes the people that we have a hard time forgiving and letting go might not even be alive anymore. And we're still holding on to that. So here's what I want us to hold on to today, the big idea. The good news of Jesus leads us to forgive as we have been forgiven, because you and I have received grace and God's economy of grace, grace that we honestly don't deserve. Because we're all broken and messed up. We're all in need of grace, and the grace has fallen upon all of us. And that's the difficult bit for many of us, right? Is that we can maybe believe that grace has fallen on me and people that I love and care about. Even if I'm having a hard time kind of accepting grace for myself, I can accept it for other people. But then there are other people outside of that should not receive grace, right? I'm not going to let them. I don't want them to receive grace. I don't want to hear it. Because to know that they receive grace, it upsets the whole thing in my head. You know, we look down our nose at these people who wanted to throw Jesus off a cliff, but when you're saying that everyone receives grace, even those who oppress and keep you down, they get grace too. That's beyond the pale for many of us, right? So let's dig into this text. We've got a ton of awesome stuff to unearth and little time to do it. So let's jump in. So then Peter, this is Matthew chapter 18, verses 21 through 35. Then Peter came to Jesus and asked, Lord, how many times shall I forgive my brother or sister who sins against me? Up to 7 times? Now that's pretty good, right? You know, you have a little card maybe in your pocket that's got like, you know, a punch or something, you know, it's like, all right, ting, that's 1. When I get to 7, done. You know what I'm saying? You know, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me 7 times, shame on you, right? So Jesus answered, not in the way that Peter would have expected or anybody else that was listening. Jesus answered, I tell you not 7 times, but 70 times 7. Now, for those who are really good at math and don't need your phone to multiply that, how many times is Jesus saying? Thank you. All right, so I actually was able to do that without using my phone. But here's the thing, right? Some ancient rabbis in the first century, they taught that forgiving someone more than 3 times was useless. Right? So in other words, if someone is so untrustworthy that they break faith with you more than 3 times, it's not worth your time, energy, they're done, right? Strike 3, you're out. And you're off the hook. You don't have to forgive them anymore. You don't have to forgive, you know? You're done. And Jesus really kind of turns all that on, because Peter was like, I'm doing good with 7 times here. You know what I mean? Because the rabbis say I only have to do it 3. I'm willing to go to 7. And Jesus is like, nah, how about 490? Now, you say, well, Jesus is putting a limit on it. Well, he was doing something interesting. This was a direct callback to a verse in the book of Genesis. Okay? So all the way back in the book of Genesis, there was this really interesting sort of thing that happened. So Lamech, this guy that is, you know, when you read Genesis or those, and there's like 1,000, you know, it's like and begat this and begat that and begat this. It's like it's the snoozer part of the Bible. But every once in a while, as you're reading through all the begats, you find these interesting little nuggets, and this was one of them. Lamech said to his wives Adah and Zillah, "Hear my voice, you wives of Lamech." Right? Listen to what I say. I have killed a man for wounding me, a young man for striking me. If Cain's revenge is 7-fold, then Lamech's is 77-fold. Right? So there's this thing in their cultural sort of imagination of like this retribution that is 490 times more than than the thing, right? And so Jesus kind of turns that on his head, saying this culture of retribution is no longer in play. There's something else going on here. This is a culture, an economy of grace, right? Okay, so let's keep going. Therefore, so here's what Jesus does. He doesn't answer Peter's question directly, even though he gives him a crazy sort of number that is connected to the symbolism that's connected to their culture and all the rest of it. Then Jesus further confounds the situation by telling a story. Therefore, the kingdom of heaven is like a king who wanted to settle accounts with his servants. As he began the settlement, a man who owed him 10,000 bags of gold was brought to him. Since he was not able to pay, the master ordered that he and his wife and his children and all that he had be sold to repay the debt. And I went and did some research. Basically, the guy owed in our money today, $226,291,702. So it's impossible to pay back, right? So in that economy of retribution, this guy and his family are going to be sold, right? That it's going to be terrible. And that was sort of how it happened, right? So in that culture, this is what would have happened to somebody who owed that kind of money. And so the people who are listening are hearing how much this man owes and are like, oh, brother. First of all, what did he do with all that money, right? I mean, that's a princely sum. And so at this, the servant fell on his knees before him. Be patient with me, he begged, and I will pay back everything. The servant's master took pity on him, canceled the debt, and let him go. So here's the second thing that just astounded the people here in the story. So they're like, that's a crazy story because you cancel that much? I mean, good heavens. I mean, he's granted amnesty. Like, it's okay. It's like it never happened. And it's shocking to people, right? That would have been like, whoa, that doesn't make sense. All right, so let's continue the story. But when that servant went out, he found one of his fellow servants who owed him 100 silver coins or 100 denarii. He grabbed him and began to choke him. And he says, pay back what you owe me, he demanded. Then he immediately goes out and finds a guy who owes him 100 denarii, which is like $5,800. Okay, so let's hold these two amounts up to one another. 226 million and change, $5,800. Right? And it's not that he goes out and says, hey dude, do you have that $5,800 that you owe me? No, he grabs the guy and he starts to like beat him up, right? And so this is what he does after that. His fellow servant fell to his knees and begged him, okay? So he fell at the knees of the king and begged him and got what? Grace, amnesty, right? His fellow servant fell to his knees and begged him, be patient with me and I will pay it back. But he refused. Instead, he went off and had the man thrown into prison until he could pay the debt. When the other servants saw what had happened, they were outraged and went and told their master everything that had happened. Then the master called the servant in. He said, you wicked servant. He said, I canceled all that debt of yours because you begged me to. Shouldn't you have had mercy on your fellow servant just as I had on you? In anger, his master handed him over to the jailers to be tortured until he should pay back all he owed. Now, the people who heard this story would have thought, now that's what he should have gotten in the first place, right? Like in their economy of retribution, that would have been the natural sort of order of things, right? This guy is gonna, terrible things are gonna happen to him because he obviously squandered all of this money, right? I mean, that's what their thinking would have been. And then Jesus said something kind of hard to hear, but I want to unpack it. So Jesus said, this is how my heavenly Father will treat each of you unless you forgive your brother or sister from your heart. So you're thinking, man, Jesus is making God seem pretty awful. But that last line is interesting. When you read it closely, what you see is that Jesus is saying that the king offered the servant a new economy of grace, a new way of living and being, but he refused it, right? Even though it was granted to him, he refused then to live within that economy of grace and to extend that economy of grace to everyone around him. And what he did instead is he went right back into that old economy of retribution, right back into the way that the world works. And so the king basically said, all right, live in that economy, live in that culture. This is what happens when you live in that culture. It's a culture of retribution. If you don't want the grace, if you don't want to live in that grace, if you don't want to exist within a way where you are extending the kingdom of God and extending that grace of God, then so be it. Now, the question that is imposed here that's posed here is one that is super important. And it's this: which kind of world do you want to live in? One marked by retribution or one marked by extravagant grace and shalom, the peace of God? I mean, which world do you want to live in? Because the world that we tend to live in most of the time when we're refusing, when we're struggling to forgive, is that old economy of retribution. We're hanging on to the way the world is as opposed to the way the world ought to be. And so how do we go about making this a practical thing? How do we go about figuring out how to forgive and to do so in a way that we set ourselves free, right? Because in the end, that's really what happens. So let's get practical. So the first thing is to understand that forgiveness is not forgetting. Because there are some things that have happened to some of us. We have had people in our lives that were toxic, that were terrible, that just did awful things to us. And maybe we're unrepentant. And, you know, that is something that you need to remember. But remembering and being able to take note of the fact that that person or that thing happened, but it does not define me. It doesn't establish my identity, right? That I don't have to be the kind of person that lives with the bitterness of unforgiveness. I can live out of the abundance of forgiveness, that I can let that go. I can let that person go. I can forgive them in terms of being able to just say, this thing happened. I'm not going to let it define me. I'm not going to let it get me. I'm not going to let it win. I'm going to let that person go. I'm going to forgive. I won't forget, because forgetting is just, first of all, that is an old adage that just doesn't make sense. Forgive and forget. How often do you really forget? You never do. But you have to reframe it, right? When you remember it, you don't remember it as something that defined who I am. It's something that was part of my journey. It was something that I have overcome. It's something that I have let go of so that I can live. Right? The second thing is forgiveness isn't fair. It's just not. Because sometimes when you're forgiving someone, maybe they absolutely don't accept that forgiveness, right? Or they don't ever admit that they're wrong. Or they just keep doing the thing that you've forgiven them for over and over again, right? Now here's what I want you to know. First of all, if you are in an abusive situation where somebody is being abusive mentally, physically, emotionally, sexually, whatever kind of way that they're being abusive, get out. Okay? That old thing that happens sometimes in super fundamentalist Christian world where, they would tell women, well, you just got to be submissive to your husband. Meanwhile, the guy is beating her up. Get out. Just get out, right? It doesn't mean that there's a day that will come when you will be able to let that go, because it will come if you are willing to live into the abundance of the life that Jesus would have you to live. But it's not fair sometimes. Forgiving is not fair. It's not fair that you and I have been granted grace either. Because God knows I haven't deserved it on many and many occasions, right? It's not fair, and it never was fair, right? But it's right, and it's just, and it will give you peace. And the third thing is this: forgiveness is about giving what you have been given. You have been given grace. In God's economy of grace, it's not the economy of retribution. If you live in that economy, you walk around in life open and willing to not only give grace, but to receive it. And to realize just how much grace that you've been given, it gives you an opportunity to see people sometimes in their humanity, as Beth was mentioning, right? You have that openness to see someone in their brokenness, even though they might have hurt you or wounded you. You know, as Rick Warren said many years ago, hurting people hurt people. And I know that it's difficult sometimes to forgive when something has happened that is so hurtful that it lives in your gut. But you have been given unbelievable grace. That grace has fallen on you, and it can fall on them. And you give what you've been given. And you can forgive even though you don't have to be in a relationship with a person, right? Because like I said, sometimes you got to get out. Sometimes you have to have distance. There are all kinds of toxic people that you don't have to be around. And I've repeated this, and I'll repeat it again. There's a Bible verse that says, I think it's in Psalms, or Proverbs, as a fool returns to his vomit, or as a dog returns to his vomit, because that's what dogs do, which is gross. But when as a dog returns to his vomit, so a fool returns to his folly. And these toxic people will always return to their vomit, and you don't have to be there when they do. Okay? But you can let them go. You can let them go. You can turn them over to God, because it's God that's in charge of grace and not us. But we can offer grace as we have it, and we can let it go. It's giving what you've been given. The question shouldn't be how much should I forgive, it should be how much do I want to be free? Come on. I thought of that myself. I didn't borrow that from anybody. Although I did borrow I think the next thing I'm about to say. But, you know, there's a story of Philip Yancey. He tells it in one of his books about in the Truth and Reconciliation Commission that was created in South Africa after apartheid ended. There was a policeman that was brought up on charges because he and other policemen, but he specifically had killed an 18-year-old boy and then burned the father alive in front of the mother of the boy and her husband. So this was her husband that was killed right in front of her by this policeman. And so part of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission was they had to admit what they did and then kind of throw themselves on the mercy of the court and the people. So they asked her, what would you like to see this man do? And she said, I want him to go to where he burned my husband and to gather those ashes and to help me give my husband a proper burial. And then I want him to come 2 days a week to my neighborhood so that I can be a mother to him. And the guy fainted because of the grace that he was given. I mean, how, right? Because you had a woman who knew the grace that she had been given and knew that if she spent her life in bitterness and hatred and anger, she would become just like, or at least in spirit, as murderous as these people. And by forgiving this man and then showing him the grace of having him come to her neighborhood so that she could mother him in place of her son who he killed. Come on. And you know what? That woman was free. She was free. Rob Bell said not that long ago, he said, maybe forgiveness is ultimately about me and about you. It's about us, because when I forgive somebody and I set them free, it's like I'm really setting myself free. Do you want to be free? Whoever it is in your life that you've had a hard time forgiving, you've been carrying that with you, maybe it's time to let that go. You don't have to tell them. Maybe you want to. Just if you do tell them, surrender the outcome and just know that you're telling them is just your journey. It's not theirs. You're not expecting anything in return, but you're letting it go to be free. Because the good news of Jesus leads us to forgive as we have been forgiven. Hallelujah. Amen. Let us pray. Good and gracious God, we are grateful for the grace that you extend to us and have extended to us, the grace that falls upon each and every one of us, no matter who we are, where we are, what we've done, what's been done to us. That grace is abundant. And God, help us to live within that, to let that grace work on our hearts, to let it work on our lives, to help us become the kind of people that will then do everything that we can to extend what grace we have to the world around us. Because that grace brings shalom. That grace brings peace to the world. And God, help us to live in that spirit of forgiveness, the abundance of life, to be free, to be who you desire us to be. We pray this in the name of your Son, Jesus. Amen. So we come to this table as a family of faith, and we need to know that when we do come to this table, that this table is set for everyone. And here at Shepherd of the Hills, everybody is welcome to come and to be fed at the table of our Lord. And here at Shepherd, we also do communion, where we celebrate communion by distribution. And we will have baskets of bread. You'll be handed a piece of bread. And you can either dip it into the cup for intinction, or you can pick up one of the little cups out of the tray and do it that way. Or if you have gluten allergies and you want to make sure that you are included, there's gluten-free options in the trays. They're covered with a white top, and the gluten-free bread and the juice are all connected. You can just pull that right out. If for whatever reason you're not able to come forward, please let us know, and we'll make sure that we bring the elements to you where you are seated. The Lord be with you.
And also with you.
Lift up your hearts.
We lift them up to the Lord.
Let us give thanks to the Lord our God.
It is right to give thanks and praise.
It is indeed right and just to give thanks and praise to God and to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, who, on the night that he was betrayed, gathered with his friends, and he took bread and he broke it, and he said, "This is my body, which is broken for you. Whenever you eat it, remember me." In the same way, he took the cup and he said, "This cup is the new covenant sealed in my blood and poured out for the rescue of many. Whenever you drink it, remember me." In the words of our brother, the Apostle Paul, whenever we eat this bread and drink this cup, we proclaim the Lord's death until he comes again. Great is the mystery of our faith, sisters, brothers, siblings all. This is not the Presbyterian table. It's not my table. It's the Lord's table. And it is he who invites, and all are welcome. I would invite those who are going to be serving, if you would, to come forward. Our band is going to lead us in continued worship. And as soon as we have everything all set, you are welcome to come and be fed.
Face shine upon you, be gracious to you.
Amen. I know we're getting out late, but you're still 30 minutes before kickoff for the noon games, and you're like easily like 45 minutes ahead of the Baptists, so it's all good. Just want to remind everybody that if you're interested in life groups, go to the faith formation table on your way out, and they'll have all of the folks will be there, and information about their various life groups. You can see when they meet and kind of what they're studying, if they've got that figure out how it meets with your schedule. Also, if you go to our mission table, our Mission Central table, there's information about one of our great partners, Presbyterian Children's Homes and Services, and I know there's a joint luncheon thing that's going to be happening. Yes, the Book Buddy lunch that's going to be happening over in our kids building. And so that's a partnership that we have with Faith Presbyterian Church over on Old Torf, and also with PCHAZ. And so if you're interested in that, you want to figure out how you might attend that. If you haven't signed up for it, it's probably okay.
You can still come.
You can still come.
I made a lot of food.
Yeah, Beth made the food, and there's a lot of food, and also Beth rolls. So yeah,
I made Beth rolls. I made 2 per person. So.
If you haven't had some of Beth's rolls, you need to stop by, at least for that, right? Just to go in and you could act interested and then just get a roll. No, don't do that. It's church. God is watching, man. Right? All right. So let's go out into this world in peace and go knowing that the God who sends us out into this world does not send us alone. This God goes before us, is behind us, is all around us and in us. And as we go, may the Lord bless and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you. May the Lord be kind and gracious to you and give you peace. In the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.